Good, and welcome. Welcome to Qigong Live Online this morning. This is the advanced class. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about balance today. And we're going to talk about something that's used a lot in Taiji also, as well as Qigong, which is called your center. The concept of your center, which is the center of balance as such. We'll call it a center of balance, to make it easy, so there's terminology. So if you have your center of balance, there's a certain place where you move to, and if you go anywhere further than that, you fall over. Or actually, no, you don't. You lose your balance, and then you start to fall over. We'll talk a little bit about that. Before we do that, we'll just bow into class. And just roll back onto your thumbs. Left hand underneath, right hand on top. Two thumbs together. And gone. Make a fist with the left hand, cover with your right. Bring it towards your heart. And what the bow does is connect us to a bigger source, because I teach from the monastery school, a very traditional monastery school. The bow puts us in connection with the lineage of that school, and however you see the deities of that school. And I believe that, of course, when I bow in, that they will come to class with us. So I believe they're all with us right now. So there you go. And they give the wisdom. They give the wisdom to me to pass on to people, and I really like that experience. So back to the balance. So the balance is important, and we'll do a couple of exercises with the balance and talk about that as well. So there's a center of balance. So the easiest way to describe the center of balance, to understand that, is when you're standing on the side of a swimming pool, and you just get to the stage where you're ready to dive in. And as you just go to dive in, there's a certain stage where you can't stop yourself going. It's that place of non-return. That now I'm going to get, no, I'm okay. Right now, I'm going to get wet now. And there's no way you can stop yourself falling, because you're off balance. And you've committed yourself to this. So to understand that principle. And it's a very fine line. It's a very fine line to be not on balance and then off balance. And when you get off balance when you're standing, of course, if I get off balance when I stand and I'm off balance, I actually have to take a step forward, because if I don't, I'm just going to land flat on my face, which is not cool. So understand that line. But as I say, it's a lot finer than you think. It's very, very fine line between the on balance, off balance. So in martial arts, you're trying to, especially in Tai Chi, you're trying to get the other person's center of balance, or their center, and trying to move it. Because once it's off center, the body automatically, not that even the person's mind doesn't do this, but the body tries to get the balance back. And it goes the other side, and then it wants to try and get the balance back. So in Tai Chi, very cleverly, what you do is you try and take their center off them. And then they react to that, pulling themselves back to the center. As they pull them back to the center, they use their own energy to get the balance back. You use that energy that they use to pull them back, and you use that to push them further the other way. And so once you get to the other side, and then they're fighting to come back the other way, as soon as they start using the energy to come back, you use that energy to take them the other way. It's a little bit like when you're driving a car. If you've ever had an experience of getting into a slide in a car, and you've probably seen this lots of, if you've never had this experience, you see it, where they turn one way and they get into a slide, and then you overcorrect it, and then all of a sudden the slide gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger from side to side until you spin out. It's the same principle. And so they're using that idea to not let you get your center back. You go one way over balance, you fight to get it back, and then they push you the other side. Whoa, fight to get it back, go to the other side. So you actually don't get your center of balance back. They take it off you, and they're using your energy to keep you out of balance. Well, while you're fighting for your balance to not fall over, they can do whatever they like with you, because that's the problem. You're fighting to stay in balance. And so if you don't ever get it back, then you can just keep manipulating what they're doing by that idea. So that's a broad understanding of that, and the mastery of that is when they're doing push hands and things like that, when you're doing Tai Chi. And part of it martially is when you come in contact with foods to see where their center is when you're touching them, so you can feel the movement inside their body, and you can feel them defending their center, trying to keep this balance, the center of balance. Yep. So that's a broad sweep on a very, very huge subject. But we want to talk about it. We want to talk about taking the Qigong practice and talk about where this point of balance is. So we'll do it together right now, so to make it easy for us. So we'll go to the right side. I'll mirror you. You go to the right side. Yep. And go right over onto one leg and sit on the leg. And so all the weight's on one leg. Now stand on your kidney point at the front of your foot and then ball of your feet. Have your heel on the ground, but no weight in it. But stand on that foot and then bend your knee slightly. Good, see. So it's not straight. You're not having the straight, slightly bent. Sit on that point. Now you can feel that point. Now, if you take the foot off the ground, you'll be able to stand there, right? You could stand there one leg because it's balanced. What you want to do is just go fraction over a bit further. Good, and then a little bit further. And you can start to feel it. You can start to feel your body trying to find this point. You can feel it going. You can feel it going. And it goes. Keep going a bit further. And you go, oh, there it is there. Yep, that's the point. And it's, as you see, it's very subtle. So do that again. We'll go to the left side this time. Go across the left side. Have the weight where you're completely weighted, so you're center weighted. Then go a little bit further. So you can go a little bit further inside. Even though you're balanced, keep going a bit further. Bit further. Oh, there it is there. See the other foot's coming off the ground. And there's this, all of a sudden it's this, I'm not sure if you make that noise or not, but the noise came to me anyway. So there, that fine piece. And that's the piece we do as a human when we're standing. We're always balancing that up, because if we don't, we fall over. And as you see, when a baby first starts standing up, and they don't have this ability to balance and coordinate this energy center. And of course, they just take one little movement and they fall over, and they go 1 minute the other way and they fall over. So it's a great way to see an untrained version of that. But of course, we've trained ourselves, but we still will defend this point. We'll defend this point. So in Tai Chi, when you're doing exercises, and in Qi Gong, you're doing this exercise, you're trying to keep centered. Now, there's a way you can do this to make it stronger. So even though, and I'm going to show you what it is, because there's lots of exercises that use this principle to teach you how to stay grounded even when you're out of balance. Yep. So we go to the right side again, we go across. Yep. Now go right across and go sit there. Now go just about to the place where you're going to fall over. Feel where that is, right? Well, there it is there, right? It's just tilting. You can feel it tilting on your little toe. Yes, all your little toes are digging into the ground at this stage, trying to hold you up. Yeah, digging into your toes. You can feel it's really close. There it is there. Well, I can just feel it wobble on this point. Good. Now all you have to do is sink your weight down your foot. And all of a sudden, that point's gone away. Go further across, go a little bit further, and sink down further. And see, every time you sink down, you lose that center. The center disappears, and then you can go further across. Oh, I can go further. Now sink down again. Whoa, see how low it goes and keep sinking down. So that's how you can maintain the center, and all you have to do is go down. The weight goes down. You can bend your knee if you like. You bend your knee, and you sink down into that point, and you get more balance. And you can go further across and you get more balance. You can go further across, more balance, because the weight's driving into the ground to hold you in this position. Yeah? So it's like the other way. If you stand up really high, and get to that place, you topple over really quickly. It's really easy because the top heavy. But as soon as you put the weight down, all of a sudden you can sit way further over than you normally could. If I stood high, I'm here, it's there. That's where the balance there. If I sit down lower, I can go right over to about here somewhere, which is way different to the other one. And we're learning how to have this groundedness, this idea of this concept of the groundedness by energy going down at the kidney points. You can have, some people talk about having your navel connected to your foot or to your kidney point. So your navel and your kidney point makes it stronger. We talk about the center column that comes from Barkway right through the top of your body, through Hu Yin, and then goes into Yongchuan, into the ground. So you're having this line that goes like a rod that goes right down. And if you do that, the same thing. If you go across without it, and you just have the kidney point, then you can line up your navel, but then I'll use an even bigger one where you go through the center column, navel, kidney point. Now this all of a sudden goes, poof, and it's solid. And there's a place in there where you can sit, and you can actually move around inside that place. You can feel the energy moving around there, but there's a solid piece that sits in it. And if you want to make it more solid, just sit down even lower on it. Just bend your knees slightly and let all the energy go down. Oh, now it gets really strong. Yeah. And you've seen people where they stand on the legs, their legs become like tree trunks. My master years ago, he'd stand on one leg, and he said, I said, but if you've got weight on one leg, you're not as strong as you've got two. And he says, that's all right, kick my leg. And so he stood there with his leg up like that. So I hit his leg, I kicked his leg. It was like hitting a tree. It was really hard. He didn't even move. He didn't even wobble. I said, my God, it's like steel. He said, kick it harder. So I kicked it. Well, it was like hitting steel because all the energy was in his leg. It was just solid, absolutely solid. There was just no movement. My leg would break before I'd move that leg because he'd learned how to project all his energy down through his body and connect to the ground. And so there's all this power in his leg. It was a very unique experience anyway. So back to the Qigong, and so how it used in Qigong is that understanding the more grounding you have, the better your center is, the stronger your center is. But the other thing that happens with it, you get more energy. You get more energy because the more grounded you are, the more the energy comes up from the ground into your body. So we're utilizing that idea of when we're doing exercises to have this idea of this energetic change of direction. Now I'll do a couple of exercises. I'll do a couple of exercises that do weight changes to make it easy for you. We'll do a simple one, then I'll do one that does weight changes forward and backwards and from side to side. We'll do a complicated one. We'll just do a simple one to start off with. Which one we use? I say simple one, then the first exercise that comes to my mind is wave hands. It's probably not the easiest one at all. What's another easier one? It's got to be an easier one than that one. Oh yeah, okay, we'll do scoop the earth. Sorry about that. That's just amused my own mind. The exercise that I was given's not easy. Neither of the two. Actually, the second one's easier. So we'll do scoop the earth. So it's a complete weight change. So we're going to step forward with your right foot again. Step forward with your right foot. And it's from the Shiva shear system. We're going to come down, and all the weight comes to the front foot. And you bend down. It's like scooping water out of there. And they call it scoop the sea. Toss the sky, and then you're going to lean backwards with the back foot. Yeah. So now all my weight's on my back foot. The front foot's not on. It's just touching the ground, no weight in it. And then when I come forward, as I come forward, I transition all the weight onto the front foot. And now basically there's no weight in the back foot. I'm standing on one foot again. So I can feel the kidney point engaged. Now I'm going to change weight, transition to the back foot. And I'm going to lean backwards. Now when I lean backwards, I can sit and I'll stop at the top, leaning backwards. If you can see me, look at me at the same time. Bit of a trick. Look at me. And I'm sitting and leaning back. Now, if I go a little bit further backwards, I'm going to actually fall over, aren't I? And to stop that, of course, I have to step backwards. But as you're leaning backwards, you can feel that point of balance. Then put more weight on the back leg. And then you see you're a lot more stable. Good. And then come back forward. And the same thing happens for the front one. When you go forward, if you lean your body too far forward, you feel like you're going to fall over. And then all you need to do is put weight on the foot. And then all of a sudden you don't feel like you're going to fall over anymore. And that's great. As soon as you ground yourself, you have more point of contact. So it helps to protect. Go backwards, right on the point. Bend your back leg slightly, put more weight in it. More stable, eh? More stable and more energy. So you win two ways with this one. Good. And for the nature of this exercise, you breathe in as you come up. Hold the point of balance. Sink down on the back leg. Good. Come forward. And as you come to the front leg, weights on the front leg. Now sink on the front leg, have more balance, more power. That's it. Perfect. Good. We're going to swap sides to the other side. Step off to the other side. Step off to the left. Come forward. Come down. Feel where the point of balance is. Feel the point of balance. If you go further forward, you're going to fall over. Feel where that is. And then sink down on the leg. Sink down onto the kidney point. As soon as you sink down, oh, look at that. You get so much more power, so much more stability in the point. That's to understand this principle that the down gives you the line sitting backwards. All you have to do is sit back on the back leg. Oh, look at that. And I go way further back now. sink down on the back and go further in, further back. But you couldn't do that before if you're standing straight. There you go, come forward. I'll do that again when we get back to show you what I mean. Forward, stay in the weight, sink on the front foot. They come back. Now I want you to stand up straight. Stand up, keep your back leg straight and your front leg straight. And lean back. Now you're only going to be able to go so far and then you're going to be off balance. Yep. There you go. You can feel it's about there somewhere. Feel all the weight coming back onto your heel. And now you can feel your toes starting to lift off the ground. The back foot toes lift off the ground, right. Now sit on the foot, sit on the front of the foot, and bend your knee on that. And now go back and see how much further back you can go. Now sit some more weight on the front of the foot. This is the back foot, weight on the front of the back foot. Kidney points, held back, looking going further. Good. And then come forward. There you go. So that's a practical experience of what that feels like. Good. Come back round to the front. And the other exercise I'll do is weight transfer forward and backwards and side at the same time. And that's, we'll use, there's a few exercises do these, of course. So in Qigong systems, they have exercises that do these steps to practice this understanding, to practice the movement of energy forward and backwards, side and side, and where that point of balance is, so you know exactly where it is. We just added the extra piece to this. We know where the balance is from side to side, but we also know how we can balance even further. Weight down, it can go further to the side if you put your weight down. Otherwise, you're limited to how far you can go if you're going straight, if you were straight. If you've got a straight legs, go across. There's only a certain place you can tip over, but as soon as you bend your knee, you can go further. Yep. So we have this extension because of the grounding effect. We can actually make the exercise further, or I shouldn't say further, we can extend it further. Sage presents Peach. That's the exercise we're going to do from the Bow system. And this is an exercise that's interesting because there's two parts to it. So we'll talk about the feet movement. So we'll start off with the right side and bring your weight to the front of the right foot. Then I want you to transition to the back, to your heel. Keep your toes on the ground though, but put your weight on your heel. Go across to the heel on the other side and then come forward onto the toes. Yep. But keep the heel on the ground. So neither the palm of your foot or the ball of your foot or the heel ever lifts off the ground. The weight's changing inside the foot, but they still remain contact. Get back to your heel, keep your toes on the ground, go across the other side to the other heel. Good, and then bring it to your toes. Good, so we're doing this transition from the heel to the toe, and remember if you go too far back on your heel, you want to fall backwards, and you don't want to do that. If you go too far forward on your toe, you're going to fall forward. So we're learning this, where this point of balance is in the heel, and where the point of balance is in the toe. And that's our limitation. We can't go any further or back with that, we'll fall over. But what we're also doing, we're going from one side, we're on one leg, we're transitioning across the other side to the other heel. And on the way across is a certain stop, because if you keep going, you're going to fall over sideways. So we have this idea of the transition from one side to the other, and we have a transition from the back to the front. And it's teaching your body where this transition point is and where the stability is, and where your center is, from one side, center to the other side, center to the back to the front, center to the front, now to the back, cross to the back, the other side, then back to the front. So it's a very good exercise for understanding this principle, and you're teaching yourself this function. Now, to amplify what I'm talking about today, the focus today is about the balance. Stand up straight, because normally we don't do this. We have our legs slightly bent, so because as soon as you bend your legs, you engage the muscles, and once the muscles are engaged, it draws the energy up to fund the energy from the muscles. But if you've got straight legs, you're standing on your bones. It's a different thing, because energy still comes up, but it comes up through your bones, through the extraordinary vessels. But when you engage your muscles, then it comes up the meridians. Different thing. So here we go. So straight legs. Go across to one side. It feels really horrible doing this. Go forward into the toe, straight legs, back to the heel on the other side, keeping in balance. And notice it's that when you're straight leg, the balance is not you're really quite high. Come forward, straight legs. It's only to there. Back to the heel, only there. If I go any further back, I'm off balance. Go to the other side. It's only to there. Go forwards, only to there. So the movement's really short. Yeah? But as soon as I bend, good morning, Doc. You come to visit us, have you? There's somebody outside. Name's Gigi, Doc. And so what we're going to do now is the transition from the weight to the heel to the heel. Good. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to bend the knee. Bend your knee down and then go back to your heel. Now, see, when you bend your knee down, you can go further back. Go across the other side with your knee bent, so you can go further to the side. And if I come forward with the knee bent, I can go further forward. So all of a sudden, the exercise has a bigger range of movement. Further to the side, further front and back, just by bending your leg. Now, if we bend our legs even more, come to the side, and notice how far to the side you can go now, and then come forward with the knee bent. Oh, how much further forward you can come. Go back, long distance across, long distance forward. Bend your knees even further. You can go further back, further to the side, further forward. And all it is because you're changing the center of gravity. You're changing the gravity point into the ground, and we're not top heavy anymore. Our tree roots are going down, and our little thin branches at the top of the roots big. So we have the ability to move the tree branches around more because the roots are holding us up, because if we had little root and we had big branches, the tree would fall over. So we're learning how to have a big root system that holds the branches of the tree, so then the tree can move around a lot more in the wind without the tree falling over. It's the same principle. And so Qigong teaches you that, and this is the exercise that does this. We'll do the whole exercise just so we don't cut it short. The hand comes up, so opposite hand to the opposite side. I'm standing on the ball of my foot on the left side. I'm going to go back to the heel. Palms change direction. Other side. Good. Keep your back straight. Don't lean forward. Keep your back straight. And you're standing on your kidney points, knee bent. Come back to your heel. Across the heel. And when you get halfway across, one hand should be up and one should be down, like that. One goes up. It goes from there to there. And then it goes up from the back, across the arm, forward. And you're like holding a peach in your hand, looking up. Now all my weight's on my kidney point. I'm basically standing on one leg, but I'm standing on the ball of that one leg. Then I'm going to rock back to the heel. Now I'm standing on the heel of that leg. Yeah, there's no weight on the ball, so I'm still standing on one leg on the ball. Go across to the ball on the other side. And then come forward into the ball of the feet. Back to the heel, heel, toe, and back, heel, heel, toe. Yep, simple exercise. So you think the structure of the body, let's go to the structure of the bones inside the foot. The heel itself, the heel bone is round. Yeah, it's round. In the front, all your metatarsals, the little bones in your feet, sitting on the ground, they're all sitting flat, but your heel's rounded. So standing on a round surface, we well know that it's pretty difficult if you put a pole with a round bottom on it. It's pretty much impossible to get it to stand up, and it's going to keep falling over because it gets the center of balance of that roundness is really difficult to find the precise center where it will stay there and you can let it go and it won't fall over. But if it's got a flat bottom, you can put it on the ground and there's a certain place where you can just sit there and it will hold itself because it has the grounding. So the same thing with ourselves as humans. We're not meant to stand on our heels because the heels are a rolling mechanism, which we move, we roll forward onto the balls of our feet, onto our span of our feet that are holding the ground. Our span of that, you see when a tiger walks, it comes back and puts its heel on the ground, and then it flops its foot, and then all of a sudden the claws go down. It takes another foot forward, I don't know if you call it a foot in a tiger, another paw, goes forward, and then you see the same thing, it puts its heel on the ground, and then it just puts the front part of the ground. And so we're doing the same thing. We're rolling on our heels to put all our weight on the front part of our feet, where the span is, so we've got all this balance through the finger, through the feet, through the fingers, through the toes. But the heel itself, we're not standing on the heel. We're not walking on the heel, we're rolling on the heel. So when you walk, and you're walking along, you remember your heel goes on the ground, you roll forward into the front of your feet. And this is about the understanding Tai Chi walking and Qigong walking, because you want to walk forward onto your kidney point, where all the power comes from, up the kidney point and all your toes, and then the heel is disengaged. The heel is just a mechanism to roll forward. As you step forward, you roll on the heel and you roll forward onto the front part of your feet. And learning how to walk like that, but most of us walk like this anyway. Our biggest problem is, I wouldn't say problem, our inefficiency we've become is we got used to standing on our bones, and we stand on our bones, and most of our weight's on our heels, and we don't stand on our front. Usually we try and spread the weight across all of it, but we've got a lot of weight on our heel. And the heel is designed, we're designed to actually stand on our toes and stand on our muscles. And our muscles hold us up. We've got lazy in some way because we're standing on one leg and we're standing on our bones. So we've got the other one just as a brace. And we're sitting on the back part of your heel that goes right through your legs and the whole spinal column. So we're standing on our bones. And in Qi Gong and in Tai Chi, we want to stand on our muscles. We want to stand on our sinews, our ligaments, our tendons, and make them really super strong. And they're strong if they're engaged, and how you engage them is sort of stand on them. As soon as you stand, put weight on them, then they're all engaged. But if you stand on the heel, then what's engaged is the skeletal system. All the bones are engaged to pile them up and keep balance through the bones. But we want to keep balance in the sinews and the muscles and the tendons and the fascia. We come through and the muscles engage the muscle, all of those are engaged. Very different way of walking, different way of standing. I try not to ever stand on my heels. You will very seldom see me. I usually always stand on the balls of my feet. So my muscles are engaged no matter where I am. When I'm walking, they're always engaged. When I'm standing, they're engaged. And even when I'm standing here talking to you, I'm not standing on my heels. I'm standing on the muscles all the time. And so I have really strong legs, but I also get a lot of power coming up through the ground to engage with the muscles. Yeah? So hopefully that's useful for you today about the understanding of the grounding, what happens, that the more grounding you get, the more balance you get, the more centered you are, or the more center you have, but the more energy you get as well, which is where we're more interested about the power that comes with being grounded and the power going down. And all you have to do is bend the knees. Bend your knees in front of your feet. Yep. Makes a huge difference. And standing like that, of course, if you're not used to that, you're standing on your balls of your feet for a while, the legs start shaking because the muscles are not used to it, because you normally don't do that. You stand on your heels, and of course the muscles are not engaged, so they're not working. But when you stand on your balls of your feet, now your muscles are engaged, so you end up with really strong muscles in your legs. I go to the gym because I believe that you should need to train your muscles as well as the energy. I train the muscles and I train the heart and do all of the aspects of physical health. But when I'm standing in the gym, I'm standing on my balls of my feet, so I engage the muscles. Yep. So I want to engage the muscles, not my heels. So then I'm always engaging muscles. Some of my muscles in my legs are really strong, and I have really strong leg muscles. It's not because I do lots of squats or heavy leg exercise. It's because I'm always standing on the muscles, and I'm always engaging the muscles, so my legs are really strong. Yep. So they're getting a workout every day. So anyway, hopefully that's useful. If you have any questions about that, please ask, and you're very, very welcome to question me about that. It's just understand the principle of it. The biggest thing for me is how much more power you get. As soon as you engage your muscles, you get more power. And that's intrigues me, and I like the power. It's good. So have a beautiful day. And for the people coming to watch this video afterwards, if you didn't watch it live, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please ask as well. It's a pleasure to be able to share this with you. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Roll back on your thumbs. Left hand underneath, right hand on top. Cool. Bring your hands towards your heart and then down to your physical center. Very good. And even when I'm standing here like this, I'm standing still on my kidney points. Even though I've got my feet facing off the 10-2, I'm actually standing on the muscles the whole time. Yep. Anyway, very good. I step back on my kidney points, still standing on my front ball of my feet. Have a beautiful day, eh? Bye-bye.